She thinks she's the calm one at the table, the steady one, the one who doesn't need much. That's the lie. Look closer. She made herself so useful that nobody, not once, has had to wonder what she actually wants. She confused being the glue for being loved. And now she's terrified of what happens to her if she ever stops holding them together. Watch her hands. Before she's even unfolded her napkin, they're moving, sliding the breadbasket 2 inches to the left the second her father's jaw goes tight. She diffused something before anyone else in the room even knew there was a fuse. You know that thing where you walk into a room and your body reads the temperature before your brain does? Where you've already started smoothing something over before you've consciously decided it needs smoothing? That. Here's the shadow standing in the corner of this dining room, the one nobody will name. She isn't a member of this family. She's the thermostat. That's the diagnosis. Cold and clean. Everyone else gets to have a bad day at this table. She doesn't. Her job is to absorb the bad days, to read the silence, predict the blow-up, and quietly redirect it before it lands. She has done this for so long that she no longer experiences it as work. She experiences it as personality. And that is the most efficient prison ever built. The one where the inmate keeps the key in her own pocket and never once thinks to use it. The mask, technically, is flawless. She's the easy daughter, the one teachers email home about, the one her mother brags about in that specific tone reserved for things you don't have to worry over. Pre-med, perfect transcript, never a problem. And that's the word that should make your skin crawl. Never a problem. Because she's decided, somewhere deep where she doesn't have to look at it, that having needs is the same thing as being a problem. So she files herself down, smooth edges, no friction, the easy one. The lie runs in her head so clean she can almost hear it in someone else's voice. They have enough going on. I'm fine. I'm the one who's okay. And the logic underneath it is airtight, which is exactly what makes it so dangerous. If she stays small, the table stays peaceful. And a peaceful table feels like love. Even when no one at it has asked her a single real question in weeks. Here's where it gets ugly. She has tracked every mood at this table for years. She knows her father's silence has 9 different flavors, and she can name all of them. She knows the exact pitch of her mother's voice that means change the subject now. She is a meteorologist of other people's weather, and she cannot remember the last time anyone checked hers. Is this healthy? No. Let's not be soft about it. This is a kid who has mistaken vigilance for love. She sits in her exact seat, the one nobody assigned but everybody enforces, wedged between her father's silence and her mother's monologue, and she calls that belonging. It isn't belonging, it's a shift. She clocks in at 6:42 every evening, and she clocks out when the dishes are dry, and the pay is the same every night. The table didn't tip over, so she gets to exist for one more day. And the saddest part of the performance? Nobody's even watching it. The TV's laughing in the next room. The fan ticks once per rotation. She aligns her fork parallel to the edge of her plate, perfectly, the way she aligns everything. And somewhere in that tiny, useless act of control, she feels almost okay. Almost like a person. Almost. So here's the part she'll never say out loud, the part that sits at the bottom of her like a stone she's learned to walk around. She didn't become the shock absorber by accident. She auditioned for the role. Sit with that. Because the comforting story, the one she'd tell you if you cornered her, is that she's just selfless, just naturally easygoing, just built to put others first. That's the story that lets her sleep. The truth is colder, and it goes like this. Somewhere, a long time ago, a kid did the math at a table just like this one and figured out that being needed is safer than being known. Watch the logic, because it's beautiful in the way a trap is beautiful. A person who is needed can never be left. You don't throw away the one who keeps everything running. But a person who is simply loved, that person can be disappointed in. That person can be too much. That person can be told no. Love is conditional and terrifying, and it can pull away from you at any moment. But usefulness? Usefulness is a contract. So she signed it. Meal by meal, year by year, she traded the risk of being a real, inconvenient person for the certainty of being a reliable function. And then, this is the genius of it, she renamed the whole arrangement. She called it maturity. Now watch it happen in real time. Someone finally looks up and asks, "How's school?" And her mouth opens, and out comes a number, a GPA percentage, a fact you could read off a transcript. Not, "I'm exhausted," not, "I haven't felt like a person in months." A statistic. And then, smooth, automatic, she flips it right back. "But how was your day? Are you feeling better?" And for half a second, she catches herself doing it. She knows she just dodged. She knows she handed back the only opening she'd been given in weeks. And she does it anyway. You do this too. Be honest. You answer, "I'm fine," not to protect them. You tell yourself it's to protect them. But really, it's to protect you. Because if you said the true thing, the heavy thing, and they just nodded and looked back at their plate, if they didn't ask twice, that would confirm the one fear you can't survive. So you never give them the chance to fail you. You decide for them that they wouldn't care. It's cleaner that way. It's safer to be unknown on purpose than to be known and found unimportant. That's the cruelest piece of the whole machine. The reason nobody asks how she's doing isn't that they're cruel. It's that she trained them, patiently, every single dinner, to believe she has no inside at all. So now we're at the part of the night the whole performance has been building toward. The table goes quiet, real quiet. Everyone's looking down at their plates at the same time. That small, dead pocket of silence between courses where the fan tick is suddenly the loudest thing in the room. And in that silence, a sentence starts forming behind her teeth. She stares at the rim of her water glass and runs the math, the way she runs everything. Like a formula, she's checking for errors before she commits it to the page. 2 outcomes, 2 doors, and she models them both, fast, in the half second before anyone notices she's gone somewhere. Door 1, the spoken truth. If she puts the fork down, if she says the real thing, nobody at this table knows anything about me, and I helped make it that way, then for the first time in years, she stops being furniture. She becomes a person. A girl with a weather of her own. A girl who is tired in a way that has nothing to do with school. A girl who exists between meals and not just during them. That's the pro. That's the lungful of air, real air for once, instead of the recycled stuff she's been breathing at this table her whole life. But she keeps running the formula because she always finishes the formula. And here's the con, and it's the kind of con that makes her stomach drop. If she says it, the table tips over. Think about what that actually costs. She spent 18 years balancing this thing, Every redirect, every slid breadbasket, every swallowed sentence was a counterweight she added to keep it level. Say the true thing, and all of it comes down at once. Her mother's face, the specific silence her father reserves for when someone's made things complicated. She becomes the problem, in a family that, by her own careful design, only ever had room for one helper, not one more person who needs helping. She doesn't just lose the peace, she loses the only seat she knows how to sit in. Door 2, the swallowed poison. If she swallows it. If she picks up the pitcher instead, refills the glasses, lets the fan keep ticking, then the pro is instant and warm and so tempting. Dinner stays smooth. Nobody's night gets ruined. She stays the easy one, the okay one, the one who never needs a thing. She gets to keep her job for one more evening. And then the con lands. And this one doesn't make her stomach drop. This one just empties her out. Because if she swallows it, she confirms the math one more time. She proves again that the only seat ever shaped for her at this table is the empty one, the one shaped exactly like usefulness. And a little more of whatever she actually is underneath the function dissolves into the role and doesn't come back. There's a version of her, a small one, a young one, that she can almost remember. A kid who hadn't learned the formula yet, who took up space at this table without checking the temperature first, who answered "How was your day?" with something true and messy and loud before she figured out that loud was a problem, and a problem was the one thing she was never supposed to be. She doesn't know when that kid left. There wasn't a day. There was just a slow trade, piece by piece, until the only thing she knew how to say when someone asked was, "I'm just tired." That's the lie she leans on now. I'm just tired. As if it's the workload. As if it's the GPA. As if it isn't the much older, much quieter exhaustion of holding up a table that has never once thought to ask if she's okay underneath it. And she realizes something terrible, sitting in that pocket of quiet. The silence she spent her whole life protecting them from, the awkward, heavy, honest silence, is the only thing left that would ever let them hear her. And she's been killing it at the door every single time, on purpose, before it could ever say her name. Hard cut. She's standing now, pitcher in her hand. 3 full glasses in front of 3 people who never asked to be thirsty. The sentence is still there, sitting behind her teeth, exactly where she left it. She opened her mouth a second ago. She was going to say, "Actually, can I tell you something?" The words were right there, right at the edge. Then her hand moved first, like it always does. 3 glasses that weren't empty, filled anyway, because that's what she's supposed to do. That's the part she plays. And the easy one doesn't put the pitcher down to make herself the center of anything. The easy one keeps pouring. She doesn't decide. That's the thing you have to understand about her. She never decides. She just stands there in the slow tick of the fan, weighing it the way she weighs everything. Whether being seen is worth being inconvenient. Whether one lung full of real air is worth the whole table coming down. The water reaches the rim of the 3rd glass, keeps going. A thin, cold line of it spills over her fingers and she doesn't stop, doesn't even look down. Because looking down would mean someone might look up, and she can't risk being the thing they finally notice. The TV is still laughing in the next room, and the sentence is still behind her teeth. The door is unlocked. Which path are you taking?